Welcome to the Bradshaw Boys, a podcast where three guys are watching romantic comedies about weddings. I'm Cory Cavin.
My name is Jon Sieber.
Kevin's not here today.
What a dick.
But you know what is here?
Boom. I don't have one.
Oh, there's some in the box behind you, or you could just wear yours.
I got.
You want to wear the Samantha one?
Yeah, I want to wear Samantha Jones.
Right here, for those watching the video, we have the law firm of Miranda Hobbs hats. Law firm Miranda Hobbs ESQ.
I have the Samantha Jones PR. I'm not going to put it on my head because my head's a lot bigger than yours, and
yeah, that's true.
I don't want to move the size needle. So instead, I'm going to wear my incredibly straight brimmed hat that says
free and easy.
Free and easy.
I like it.
Yeah.
Go to shop.bradshawboys.com and get you a hat.
Yeah.
I've been hawking these hats.
Yeah, hawking these hats. Take a selfie with them. Tag us. Take a picture of you sitting in your PR agency that you run. Take a picture of them in your badass law firm. And you're a partner with your law books behind you. Yeah. Maybe you're on the softball field.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just do your thing.
Do your thing, girl. Yeah. Get out there and do it.
What is going on, Cory?
Not much is going on. It's currently raining in New York.
Yes.
Currently raining in New York.
Yep.
It's great to have you here in my home, as we call it, Studio 3 of the Bradshaw Boys. I guess we have original studio, which was the first Seltzer King studio. Yes. Which has now been vacated because Jeremy moved.
Oh, he did?
He moved, yeah.
I did not know that.
He's building another studio, but he moved from the original Seltzer King studio. I guess Studio 1 would be Kevin's apartment.
Which he shut down on us.
He shut down on us. He sold it out from under us.
Yeah. Dude, that rascal.
That little rascal. Spanky, little rascal.
Kevin is such a rascal.
He is a rascal. Studio 2 would be your place where we are sometimes.
Yeah.
And now house, we're in Studio 3.
We are unable to film my house right now because Katie is having a play date. Friend of the pod. Is over there right now with her baby. Oh,
there's a baby involved. I thought Katie was just having a play date with someone.
Yeah, Katie is there. She's building blocks, and it's funny. She brought the toy kitchen down into the normal kitchen, and she's doing kitchenception. She's she's cooking fake meals and making fake tea while the real kettle's on.
I love that.
Do you remember when you just played? You remember when you told your mom you were just like, "Can I go play?"
Yeah,
dude, how awesome was playing?
It was great.
Oh, man.
You asked me before we started this podcast if I listened to Radio Lab.
Yeah.
Another great podcast.
Yeah. The reason is, I never told you why. No. They have an episode that's a rerun on guts, on the gut, and how we discover how the
Nickelodeon guts.
Yeah. To Mo for the scores. Yeah. He talks about the different obstacles in the aggro crag.
Oh, nice.
No, they talk about the gut because you're into gut health.
Yeah, very much so.
And how they discovered how the gut works and how digestion works. It's a great, if you're listening to this podcast, stop listening to this and go listen to the Radio Lab gut podcast. Yeah.
Much more highly produced. Well, we were talking about that because I just showed you some gut stuff I have going on, making a fermented turmeric drink, turmeric ginger soda, naturally fermented.
Yeah,
with
it smells spicy.
It smelled very spicy. We're gonna get to Wedding Crashers in a second, but I just want you to guess how many other naturally fermented things are going on in this house right now.
Whew. Man,
don't overthink it. Don't be like 30.
Realistically, there's 3 fermented projects going on right now.
Let's see. There is.
Which is amazing that you have to think. Usually when I think of people fermenting stuff, it smells really bad. Your apartment does not have a smell at all. It smells great in here.
I appreciate that. I try to burn some wood incense or some Palo Santo to really make it smell good.
It smells great.
I think there's 2 going on right now. Okay. There is the fermented turmeric ginger drink. Okay. And there's also some fermented garlic habanero honey that's getting ready for Thanksgiving. And then things that have been fermented, there's a homemade focaccia that was made last week. That's not really fermented, but that's yeasted. It's got
living organisms in it.
Yeah. And then there is a homemade yogurt in the fridge right now that was made. And there's also a homemade sauerkraut that was made that was fermented, and then there are also.
Wouldn't they still be fermenting? It's not like
I guess they are.
So my guess, I did not overguess.
You did not overguess. No, yeah, they're still fermenting slowly.
So there's like 6.
Yeah, then there's watermelon rind pickles that were made this summer.
7.
God, they're so good. And then this isn't a ferment. It's actually a non-ferment, but there is an aged eggnog that is being made in my fridge now. You want to guess when I made the eggnog?
Oh my gosh. I'm going to say July.
11 months ago today.
Oh my gosh.
And there's a Cook's, I think it's a Cook's Illustrated article about it, where it's got enough high alcohol in it that they tested it a year later, 0 living organisms.
What?
So I'm trying to age it for 1 year before I enjoy it.
Man,
so that's what all's going on. So that's Cory's Kitchen Corner.
That is Cory. You have a lot. You have hundreds of trillions of living organisms in your apartment right now.
You got to for the gut, for the gut's sake.
The gut. FTG.
Speaking of the gut, Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson have been getting punched in the gut a lot in Wedding Crashers.
Sack has been clearing the gut from the eye drops. What does the eye drops do? So eye drops, is this a real thing?
It's a real thing. Eye drops, if you use Visine, or I guess whatever eye drops, a couple drops in someone's drink, it poisons you.
What?
There's a woman who there's some case that someone I'm sure listening to knows about, but like there was a thing about a year or two ago where they found out a woman had poisoned her husband by using eye drops and he killed him.
What?
But if you just put a little in there, it's something inside it. It'll poison you, it'll really mess up your stomach and you'll have like bad diarrhea and you'll throw up.
Oh my gosh.
So that's what they did to him. So it goes back to what you said the last time we talked about this on the last podcast. It's all in hijinks, but like Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn are really not good dudes.
No, they're doing some bad stuff.
Yeah, they're poisoning
They're doing some
people.
naughty stuff out there.
They're lying to a family.
Yeah, they probably don't even have any fermented foods in the refrigerator.
No, they're not doing anything with living organisms.
Is there a name for someone who ferments?
Ooh,
because like if you're a beekeeper, you're a
apiarist or an apiarist. I think. Yeah.
So what are you? Are you just a fermenter?
I guess you're a fermenter. There's
a fermentarian.
Yeah, there's got to be a better term for it.
A fermenterologist.
A bubbler. A micro. Oh, you're not a microbiologist.
Dude, I love a
bubbler.
Dude, you gotta find a meetup for other bubblers.
Dude, I'm gonna look that up right now and see
bubbler
if
meetup.
A meetup
for fermentators. Any other fermentators out there that are listening? I've never fermented anything. I'll try it though. That's just, you know what? That's what this podcast's all about,
bro.
Is taking people from different walks of life. You may like Sex and City and fermenting. I may like Wedding Crashers and eating things that are dead. And we can still be friends. We can connect.
I just found multiple meetups online about
what do they call it? What do they refer to themselves?
All Things Fermentation Groups. Find 8 All Things Fermentation Groups near you with 1,931 members.
Yeah, dude.
Cremation not cremation. That'd be amazing.
Amateur cremators.
This is a creation and fermentation workshops in kombucha. I've made kombucha before.
How, like, I know you're reading this on the podcast, but like, how actually interested are you in these groups?
Pretty interested. I don't know if I'll actually go to one, but I'm definitely going to read up on this later.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so basically what's going on is we have Jeremy and Jon, two brothers played by Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, who crashed the wedding, and Owen Wilson is falling in love with Rachel McAdams' character. And basically he just kissed her on the beach and was like, you can't marry that guy.
Yeah.
Jeez. Is that what he said? Yeah, he said you can't. Did he say that last time? It's been a while. So I think
he said that on the swing. You can't marry that guy.
And they come home.
I think he said it.
He hasn't said that yet.
Oh, he hasn't said it yet. Sorry, we've both seen the movie before.
Yeah.
I'm jumbling on what we've. Yeah.
And they get home from their beach after they do smooch. They do a little smoochy doochy.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, the smooch?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, like, we're talking about how they're not good guys, and like, I know that feelings and the chivalry of love is involved.
Why is that playing?
Oh, we've talked about this before. That's my
ringtone.
That's my ringtone. It's Shallows.
Oh, dude, I love that.
Speaking of Bradley Cooper. Yeah, it's such a long.
It's so good. I'm on the deep end.
Watch as I dive in.
I'm in the shade of hell.
Okay.
Yeah, they're shitty people.
You're kissing another person's
fiance.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with someone else's fiance.
Wait, so are they engaged yet? Oh,
I guess they're not, because they get engaged right after. So he's just kissing someone's girlfriend.
Jeef, yeah.
Okay.
Still
shitty move. Still. Not as shitty.
Yeah.
Totally. I can forgive someone for kissing someone else's girlfriend. Mm-hmm. If you're smooching someone else's fiance, like that's pretty low. Yeah. If you're kissing someone else's wife, then there's a problem.
Yeah, we got that's dueling circumstances.
Ooh. How dare you, D'Artagnan? And so, yeah, they come back and Bradley Cooper does a surprise engagement on Rachel McAdams. So, uniting two of the great families.
Wow, that's pretty wild. That's what marriage is uniting families.
Unite us, unite the clans.
Johnny, unite us.
Great. Right. Should we watch part 3?
Part 3. Let's finish the game.
Let's watch the end of Wedding Crashers. Let's talk about, maybe we'll talk about Elon Musk some more. I don't know.
We talked about that last one. Yeah, we went on a long talk about the state of Twitter.
Yeah.
We don't have to go there again.
I'll go there. I'm not scared.
You gave me some stuff to think about.
Katie, take us away, and we'll be back.
Wedding Crashers, directed by David Dobkin. Jeremy, played by Vince Vaughn, and Jon, played by Owen Wilson, are divorce mediators who spend their free time crashing wedding receptions. For this duo, there are few better ways to drink for free and bed vulnerable women than crashing a wedding. So when Secretary of the Treasury William Cleary, played by Christopher Walken, announces the wedding of his daughter, the pair make it their mission to crash the high-profile event. But their game hits a bump in the road when Jon locks eyes with bridesmaid Claire, played by Rachel McAdams. And now, back to the boys.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Man, that movie, dude. Will Ferrell coming in at the end there.
Dude.
Do you remember the first time you saw that?
You know what's funny is I had kind of forgotten about that part in the movie. I don't know why. Well, I'd forgotten about the reveal, and then like seeing him at the funeral and stuff is so fun. It's such classic, great Will Ferrell.
Dude, you said something to me once. I think it was you, and you're like, everyone's favorite Saturday Night Live cast is like the cast of when you were in high school.
Yeah, Which
for me, I think Will Ferrell was. No,
that would have been early 2000s.
Because when I was in high school, it was like Chris Farley and
what years were you in high school?
I was in high school in 97 to 01. Was Will Ferrell on the cast then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I guess did they cross over? When did Farley die?
It was like Farley, and when I remember watching SNL back then, it was like Farley and David Spade and Adam Sandler. Yeah, I guess maybe Will Ferrell at the end, but man, he is just like just looking at Will Ferrell, and there's not a lot of people like this. Just like when you look at him, I laugh. I think it's funny.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, people.
Is that because he's just like he looks funny, or is that just because like I think of all the shit that he's done?
I think it's two things. It's one.
Tell me why Will Ferrell's funny.
Let's break it down. I think it's two things. I think one, it is that he is just one of those people that he can talk and say anything, and he's just a funny person. He walks in the room, he just looks. You see him walk in a sketch in SNL. He just has a funny air about him, and then also he has this thing that me and friend of the pod Josh Lay talk about, which we call the camp director effect, which it's like when you go to summer camp as a kid, first night you get there and the camp director is like on stage making announcements, making some jokes or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this is stupid. You know, like I'm too cool to be here.
Right.
And by the end of camp, it's just become your whole world.
Yeah,
and anything that camp director says, you're just like, man. Like, and it's Will Ferrell has a thing that now that you know he's Will Ferrell, you're kind of on board with whatever he's going to do.
100.
But
that's
he
so
also
funny.
has that other thing where if you didn't know who he was, you would be like, I don't know what it is about that guy, but that guy's funny. Do you know Will Ferrell though? His first season on SNL was, at the time, they were like one of the worst first seasons anyone ever had.
What?
Yeah, they were just like, this guy is just like incredibly forgettable.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Has he flopped? Has he done a movie that just like wasn't funny?
He did. He tried to do some more serious movies. He did everything.
He did Stranger Than Fiction, which was really great.
Stranger Than Fiction was awesome.
Yeah.
Who's in Stranger Than Fiction? Tony Hale.
That's right.
Been on the pod.
Mm-hmm.
He did Everything Must Go, which I didn't see. I think Kevin saw it and said it was good. But I think his turn into serious stuff was not as well received as like Tom Hanks's, Steve Carell's, Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Like I think Will Ferrell he's
just too damn funny.
Yeah. He's had a harder time hitting as that.
Yeah.
And he's just, you're right. He is just like too funny.
And he's been able to like go with like the straighter, the straight man more and like be the funny person off that character. Like, cause like he's got a thing like now with like Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. Like in Other Guys.
The Other Guys or Daddy's Home 2.
I never saw Daddy's Home.
Dude. My sister-in-law was like, you have to watch Daddy's Home 2. Never even heard of this franchise. It was like a couple of holidays ago. We watched that shit. That is a funny fucking movie.
Yeah, I would love to see it.
But he like played off of so many different people where he's the funny guy, and he crushes it.
He plays the like confident idiot so well.
Oh my gosh!
Did you watch Eastbound and Down?
He's so good.
So good.
Leslie Schaefer, is that his name?
Yeah. Ashley Schaefer. Ashley Schaefer. He's basically playing off of being Ric Flair. Anyway, it's so good. It's like, I feel it down in my plums.
I was making love to my wife Beverly.
It's so terrible.
Came rapping at the door. I said, "No, let the boy watch." Anyway.
All right.
Okay, I'll do a quick recap. The first thing we find out in this scene is that Isla Fisher's character is not a virgin.
Not a virgin. She's just I thought that's just what guys wanted to hear, which is crazy.
Immediately like turns Will Ferrell's character on and sets the Vince Vaughn's character on.
VV.
And sets the groundwork for like,
probably would have turned Will Ferrell's character on too.
Yeah, Chaz.
Yeah, Chaz.
This is where we're going. They end up, of course, falling in love and being the wedding at the end of the movie. And also caused the problems between Vince Vaughn's character and Owen Wilson's character. Owen Wilson has that great scene with the priest where he's like confessing.
No. Vince Vaughn.
What am I doing? Did I say Will Ferrell again?
You said Owen Wilson.
John, you idiot.
Get Vince Vaughn into your mouth.
Yeah. Vince Vaughn.
There you go.
Vince Vaughn has the sit down with the priest for breakfast where he's like,
drinking.
Thinks it's what's that?
He was drinking.
Yeah. Thinks it's like a confessional and telling him about Isla Fisher's character. Another great scene.
So good.
His breakfast scenes are really great.
They're great
in this movie.
Yeah.
And then that is when Owen Wilson and Rachel McAdams, he's like, you can't marry this guy. You know, you can't. And then right when that happens, the grandma comes out with a gun.
Yeah.
And Vince Vaughn's like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
And Sack brings it up that
Sack Lodge
brings it up that they are wedding crashers, that they crash weddings to sleep with women. And Rachel McAdams gets pissed, but the person who gets the most pissed is Christopher Walken's character, and rightfully so. If I were Walken and I found that out, I'd be seeing red.
You've accepted these people into your home. Now you're like, who are these psychopaths? They're dangerous.
And he does one of the most like powerful, I'm angry things. And he says, there's a ferry in 10 minutes. I suggest you're on it.
Yeah.
Like, not get the hell off my property.
Yeah.
Not like, I'm going to kill you if you don't leave. It's just,
it's a stern, just like
suggestion.
It's basically just like, this is my final warning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Man, I hope I get to say something like that to like one of Mickey's friends one day.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Mickey's mother will be downstairs in 5 minutes. I suggest you're gone.
I love that.
That'd be dope.
That would be dope. Okay.
So now we've kind of left. This movie's also crazy because it only takes place in we're like an hour through the movie and we've only been at like the wedding and this like house.
Well, you start and have the insane montage of all the weddings and setting up their life and like seeing their world and stuff. But you're right. The entire middle act of the movie is just like on this property, which is like kind of smart because it's definitely a lot of scenes.
Yeah.
So it's still a lot to shoot, but like your cast is smaller.
Yeah.
Like you're not like out in a city.
Yeah. You have like a dinner table scene, a couple breakfast scenes, a bedroom scene, and then you have like the biking scene, which also that Mungo Jerry song. In the summertime. Katie and I would, when we were working out in the Hamptons, we'd ride our bike to the beach a lot. And like every single time I'm on a bike, like riding by the beach, that song is just playing in my head.
That's great.
But
although I was, oh, go ahead.
What did you say?
I was just going to be like, pretty dangerous taking their hands off the handlebars.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yours truly did that. And he got very hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, I'm a big helmet wearer.
You are a big helmet wearer.
Yep. I
am too.
Yeah.
Although I don't when I wear a city bike. Sorry.
Gotta wear a helmet, dude.
I know.
But city bikes, you're not really even riding a bike. You're kind of like standing. It's really weird.
City bikes, you're on like a 35-pound chariot that like I'm sure that people have gotten very hurt on them, but like I feel like if you wreck on that, either you run into something and do more damage to the thing you ran into, or it just sort of turns over and you're like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going fast on a city bike.
No. Although you know about City Bike Boys?
No.
Everyone out there, follow the Instagram account City Bike Boys, BOYZ. Bunch of dudes that do just like crazy BMX stuff with city bikes.
Dude.
It's wild.
There's an event called Bike Kill that takes place in Red Hook every year where they basically build bikes out of weird shit.
Oh, wow.
A friend of the pod, Dylan Heiser, was telling me about it.
That's crazy. All right. So
go back now they're back into the real world.
Yep.
And it comes to like, we're back in their office and Owen Wilson's character is like trying yet again another way of winning over Rachel McAdams. And Vince Vaughn's like, it's been months. She hasn't responded to any of her stuff.
Yeah.
She hasn't responded to your notes, your phone calls, your text messages. And I don't even know what she did with that kitten because we're not taking care of it anymore. And there's one last attempt. There's an engagement party?
It's her engagement party.
Her engagement party that they try to go into dressed like waiters.
Yeah.
The one of the people that either works for the family, like lets him in and is like, good luck.
Oh, it's the guy who, he worked for them and he was sitting there watching TV and Zach was like, what are you getting paid for? It was like that guy. I guess he's the one guy that really buddied up to him. Yeah.
And so Vince Vaughn's supposed to be there, but he's not. So Owen Wilson goes in and immediately gets thrown out, gets the shit kicked out of him by Sack and the boys.
Yep.
And then you hear Sack being like, oh, there's like a bartender in there with big tits or something like that in the red dress. And like once again reveals how shitty Sack is.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson goes and discovers that Vince Vaughn is actually with Isla Fisher's character.
Yeah. And they've been carrying on this like affair.
Which is great.
It's awesome. I love that turn that like that she was so insane and then somehow he's just like they're in love. And I love that his words to her when they were getting kicked off, he was just like, it's like you're not all there. And that turns me on. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not either. I'm not all there either. Like there's this whole thing about how like we're both kind of crazy and I like it. I think it's
when Owen Wilson goes in his office and he's like, take your panties, ball them up, stick them in. And he's just like, okay, Jack. It's just like so.
It's so funny.
Their relationship is so great.
Yeah.
So Owen Wilson's like really bummed. Like you hung me out to dry. I got my ass kicked. And then there's another great montage. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I said it like that.
Montage.
There's a great montage of Owen Wilson like crashing weddings solo by himself where he's just like doing an awful speech. He's like breaking all the rules that Chaz probably made.
Yeah, totally. Kisses a bride.
He's like trying to dance with kids. It's failing.
Telling kids that love or friendship doesn't exist.
Which, by the way, I went to a wedding once when I was at the lowest of low. I've probably talked about this in the pod before. It was my friend who I'm still friends with them now. They got married and I like was just wasted. I had just gotten broken up with, and I like walk up to them and I'm like, I'm really happy for you guys. I just want you to know that I don't believe in love. It's not real. And then I walked home.
Good Lord. That is so funny.
Sorry about that. I do believe in love, and I believe in life after love after love after love.
You can hear me say, yeah.
So then there's a moment where there's like a reconciliation. Vince Vaughn goes over to his house, and there's like, self-help books, and it looks like things are in rough shape. There's booze, and you think that there's like going to be this reconciliation, but Vince Vaughn's really over to tell him that he's getting married.
Yes.
And then that's when Owen Wilson's like, get out of my house.
Yeah.
You're a hillbilly. You're a redneck.
You're a redneck. You're a hillbilly. Like all these weird insults.
Which I didn't really understand, but thought was funny.
Yeah. That felt like it was possibly improv.
Which leads Owen Wilson to go to Mecca and discover Chaz himself.
Yeah.
Which I think is the best scene in the movie.
I think it is too. His mom. Pick up your skateboard. And then him asking for the meatloaf. So good.
Comes down, starts it out with, I almost nunchucked you.
You didn't even see it coming.
And Owen Wilson just goes, ouch. And then just like right when you're in the middle of the scene and Owen Wilson's like, Will Ferrell's character Chaz is the biggest loser. He lives with his mom. He's got nunchucks. He's wearing a Hugh Hefner robe. He's got the skateboard on the floor. Like comes down the stairs, just an absolute bombshell, and just like kisses Will Ferrell, and he's like, "Be strong." She leaves, and Owen Wilson is just like so enamored by Chaz.
Like, you got it.
I will take some of that meatloaf.
Yeah, totally.
If you've never seen this movie, and if you're just listening to the pod for fun, like seriously, go watch that scene. Look it up on YouTube. I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Yeah, totally.
It's really funny.
Yeah, it's great.
Will Ferrell does some like hand stuff that's just like really funny.
Yeah. There's a gif of that somewhere. There's got to be of him doing the hands like that. Yeah.
Never know what she's doing back there. And this is when Chaz tells him that he's no longer crashing weddings. He's crashing funerals.
He says grief is nature's biggest aphrodisiac.
Which also Sex and the City. There's some doesn't one of them goes Samantha.
Oh yeah, Samantha
brings up that weddings are a great place to meet guys.
And then there's the guy who is it Charlotte? There's a guy who they meet she finds out she's getting 2-timed.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the funerals.
So sorry. So Chaz is not this is not an operation that he invented by any stretch. This is like, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
This does make sense. And you hear of stories of people like losing a loved one and then immediately falling in love. And it's like, what does he call it? Like you're there to catch them, pick them up. I don't know. There's a term for it.
Yeah. I forget what he said.
So Owen Wilson crashes a funeral and that's like the lowest of the low point. He's just like, I can't do that.
And he sees a woman crying who just lost her husband and it really touches him.
Yeah. And Chaz is there doing like air humps. He's got the 2 girls.
So good.
So funny. And then Owen Wilson goes to the funeral or the wedding. What is wrong with me today?
So I don't know. Maybe it's the weather. Maybe you need some fermentation stuff to get your brain going.
Dude, I do.
Dude, I'll get you some yogurt.
Goes to the wedding and, they think he's going to get thrown out. And basically Rachel McAdams chooses him and you get a really see Sachs true character of just being like frat boy rage monster.
Yeah. Just like telling her to like get back up there.
Yeah. He goes to the wedding because Vince Vaughn says, he's my best man.
Right.
And then Vince Vaughn, of course, takes Sack down. And then we cut to the next scene of the 4 of them in the car together. Crashing a wedding.
They're a folk band now.
If they if that really happened and all four of them actually got married, that's like the most fun life you can ask for.
Oh, I mean, you think about that. You marry into like a senator's family.
But you have two sisters who marry best friends.
Yeah.
So it's like they're already doing everything together.
Totally.
Owen Wilson's or Vince Vaughn's already like doing sleepover at this guy's house.
Yeah.
They're like you're set up for just like so much fun.
Do you think they would still do this? I bet do you think they still do the sleepover after that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think from what I know about Vince Vaughn's character, they're never going to not do the sleepover.
Yeah, totally.
You know.
Yeah, and that's the end of the movie.
That's Wedding Crashers.
Well, thanks for being patrons.
Thanks for being.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, there's a lot of movies that I feel like they're a little too long, and this one has a long third act, but I don't think it's too long. But no. I think you kind of get more than you bargained for with this movie. Like you get like the Vince Vaughn Owen Wilson friendship kind of Owen Wilson kind of going off on his own, just being
that's what
like,
I think. That's what
I think it's really good.
I like this because like in some movies, the third act drama prior to there being closure is like something bad happens. Like I'm thinking of like My Best Friend's Wedding, where like Julia Roberts messes up, but she still has like an ally that she can like call on the phone,
right?
Or like, you know, talk to.
She's got her friend.
She's got her friend.
Yeah.
Or like most romantic comedies, like there is a dramatic thing that happens, but the person is not on their own.
Right.
And like Owen Wilson's character is like gets stripped of almost everything.
Yeah, he's truly on his own.
He gets discovered, which is like strike number 1.
Yeah.
He gets physically his ass kicked. Strike number 2. He gets interpreted that his friends like betraying me, which is like strike number 3 or 4. And 7. Then he goes and like meets his hero, Chaz, this like legendary rule setting perfect person who's like the worst of the worst, who's just a scumbag that's even worse than him. Yeah. And so it's like you really get to see the main character get like completely depraved before they come out of it. Yeah. And like I think that's actually like pretty good storytelling.
Yeah, totally.
In the way that they do it. Yeah. Because like it'd be one thing if like he just didn't work out and then like the family found out, chased him off the property, and then like he figured out a way to get her back with Vince Vaughn helping. And I don't think the movie would feel nearly as satisfying.
Yeah, the movie feels really good because they find a way to expose them and then to have them come back to the family in a way that feels kind of earned, and it makes sense that the family like likes them again. And I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that you don't see with Vince Vaughn's character where he had to sit down with Walken and just be like, I know we lied to you, but I love your daughter. And like,
or not. I mean, we saw how the daughter gets things from Walken. She just stamps her feet and pouts and cries on the ground.
You know who else I thought, and maybe I'm just saying this because of the red hair, but you know who else I think could play that character and do a good job is Ellie Kemper.
Yeah, totally.
Ellie Kemper would be great in that role as well. Yeah.
No, I think there was probably like a discussion or an edit of this movie where like Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, and Isla Fisher worked together to win back Rachel McAdams' character. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, I don't think that would have been as good. I don't think that would have been as satisfying.
No.
I think there would have been maybe a little bit more comedy because like, I think Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn playing off each other is really funny. But I don't know, like having him out on his own, lonely, meeting with Chaz, just like so good. Yeah, it's great. He really, in a comedic way, really like goes through this journey of himself, of kind of exploring as deep as he can. Dude, he does the hero's journey. He does the hero's journey. Yeah. He really does some Joseph Campbelling. Absolutely. Yeah. The Campbell Crashers. Yeah. he really kind of goes through the whole
hero's journey wheel.
He doesn't really meet a mystical spiritual force.
I mean, you could argue maybe that's Chaz.
That's
maybe
true.
Chaz.
Chaz is the cloud Mufasa in the sky telling him to crash weddings.
Yeah.
Simba, you must fuck lonely girls at weddings. At funerals. Grief is nature's ultimate aphrodisiac.
Yeah, he doesn't really meet that.
No. But that would be a dope Lion King cut. If Simba did tell,
awesome.
if Mufasa did tell Simba where to pick up some lion snatch. Go to the Kodo graveyard, Simba. That is Nala's husband just died and she's gonna be horny as shit. You must go sniff her asshole while she's crying over the death of her husband that Scar just killed.
Oh yeah.
And then fuck her every 9 minutes for an entire season like a good lion.
Is that what lions do in mating season?
Lions in mating season have sex. Like that's literally all the male lions do.
Really?
Yes. It's like
they're just stuck.
I remember the reason I remember that is because I saw that like on one of those Discovery shows when I was like young and impressionable, and like David Attenborough or whoever was prior to David Attenborough was like, every 6 minutes the male lion will mount the lioness, thrusting deeper, trying to make offspring, and I was just like, that's a lot.
Are lions monogamous? I don't think they are.
I don't think they are. No.
Yeah,
I think there's like one. I don't know. If you're a lion daddy out there, but I think there's like the pride is like a bunch of
lionesses.
Female lionesses and like one lion.
One
that's
lazy lion who's just getting his rocks off.
Maybe not though.
I don't know. I think ducks are monogamous.
Yes, loons.
Is that what?
Loons are?
What are loons?
Dude, I love people who don't know what loons are.
I don't know what a loon is.
Dude, they're the coolest bird. Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
Dude, they're like this huge duck that's just black with white like polka dots.
Oh, cool.
And they make like the craziest call. Anyway, they hitch for life.
You know, ducks have corkscrew penises.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Anyway, where were we? Hero's Journey. Joseph Campbell.
Oh yeah, there's a loon.
Yeah, dude.
Look at that.
They're big. One time Harlan, friend of the pod, was up with us in my parents have that place in Wisconsin, and he took the kayak out, and like the loons they build a nest because the same loons come back to the same lake. That's the sound. Yeah,
there's a loon call.
They go all the way down. They fly like all the way down to Georgia, and then they come all the way back up to northern Wisconsin. And the same two loons get the lake, and they come back to the same lake every year.
That is cool.
And they set up their same nest, and they have their kid, and then whatever. So Harlan was out kayaking. He came back. He's like, I saw the craziest duck I've ever seen. He's like, it was huge and had red eyes and like white spots. You're like, you don't know what a loon is? He's like, no, what is it? It was funny.
Dude, that's awesome. So Hero's Journey makes the whole journey. There's a lot of this is me picking apart the fun reality. But there's sorry, I keep having a burp as I talk, and I'm trying to like fight that.
Well, we did just talk about all the fermented food you have in your house.
That's very true. And I did drink some seltzer before we did this. But a lot of speeches, of just like breaking up big events. Like I think at your wedding, if I came in late and you were like, that's the best man. And then, I kept talking during it. Like, I think it's all played for comedy, but there is a lot of like Rachel McAdams standing there and Owen Wilson being Owen Wilson and her being like, could you finish your speech before I leave? A lot of that holding up big events in this movie, but it's a comedy.
This movie reminded me of a problem I have with weddings.
What's that?
With wedding parties. And I did knowingly the thing that I have a problem with, but I think it should change. Although there are some logistics that we would need to work out. I think the groomsmen and the bridesmaids stand on the wrong side. I think groomsmen should stand behind the bride.
Okay.
And I think bridesmaids should stand behind the groom.
Why?
You would have to teach the best man as to how to pull the train and do all that stuff.
Right.
But you as like when I'm the best man, I'm staring at the back of my friend's head.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, yeah, I'm friends with the bride. I know her. I've maybe met her a handful of times, or maybe she's a friend. But I want to see my friend's face.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can't ever see that.
Isn't it set up that it's like an old thing where it's like
times are changing? True. This is 2022. Let's switch that shit up.
I mean, you know what? Why not? We're changing everything else these days.
Yeah.
Might as well. You know, nothing's sacred anymore.
I just think, I mean, I'm sure people have done that, but yeah, because he's like sitting there making eyes at
McAdams.
McAdams and talking to her during the ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Which good on him. Like he knew what he wanted. He knew Sack was a dickhead.
Yeah.
Sack eventually showed his true colors.
I bet Sack is a Sackler.
Dude, don't even start me with the Sacklers. You want to do a Sackler podcast?
Dude, we could do a Sackler podcast.
Those are some bad people. Do you after seeing that documentary, do you finally get it?
Oh, I get it.
You didn't see Dope Sick.
I didn't see Dope Sick.
You didn't read Empire Pain.
I didn't read Empire Pain, but I did see Beauty and the Bloodshed, the new documentary.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's wild.
Dude, they are
insane.
Yeah. Bad people.
Yeah, it's crazy. Have you seen the documentary yet?
No, I haven't. I want to see it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Owen Wilson goes in there, knows what he wants, gets the McAds, and B. Coops gets his comeuppance.
Yeah, he catches a right hook from Vince Vaughn.
From the groom.
Yeah.
Do you think
from Baba Ganoush, from the big guy?
Do you think Bradley Cooper was escorted out after that? He just left. I mean,
I think it's a senator's wedding. There's probably security there.
There was definitely security because they almost didn't let Owen Wilson in.
Yeah.
I bet they took him out because he tried to attack the groom.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he should be taken out.
Because Christopher Walken was like, I listen to your shitty stories, but I don't like you. Does Christopher Walken suggest that he should leave?
Oh, did he?
I don't know. But yeah, if Walken, I honestly don't think they looked towards like assaulting the groom. Like, yeah, that's not good, but I don't think like he would get escorted out for that. I think it would have to come from the father of the bride. Or the bride.
Yeah. A lot of drama happening where it's like, I can't marry you, broken engagement right there at a wedding.
Yeah.
After you've already had a guy show up late to the wedding and confess his love for the bridesmaid who is then engaged. A lot going on at this wedding.
That is a lot going on at the wedding.
A lot going on at the wedding.
But I would love to. Have you ever been at like a wedding where anything like super dramatic happens?
No, I talked about this once on the pod, and I was not invited to this wedding, but it was a friend of mine's wedding. It was a family that I was friends with, and I'd been to one of the brothers' weddings, and then another one of the brothers got married, and so I knew a lot of the people who were going to the other. This is like years apart. It was like so and so got married, and then a couple of years later, his brother got married. And I know people that showed up to the ceremony, and as they showed up there was someone standing at the church being like, "I'm sorry, the wedding's not happening today."
Ooh, okay.
And that was how the call off happened.
Yeah.
So that I think would be pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I've been to so many weddings, and I'm trying to think if there was anything that was dramatic there. I think like I've heard like a drunk father speech that was a little too like, "Hey man, okay, you good?"
Yeah.
But beyond that, I don't think I've seen anything crazy.
Yeah. I was in a wedding party where someone passed out.
Oh, locking the knees?
Locking the knees during the reception.
Oh, yeah.
I felt bad.
Oh, during the reception?
Sorry, during the ceremony.
During the ceremony.
During the ceremony. She was, it was bad. It was scary because she was pregnant too.
Good Lord.
And she locked her knees and passed out, and we figured it all out.
I went to a wedding where it was discovered at the reception that someone took a dump on the floor.
What?
Not on the dance floor, but somewhere else in the reception hall. Someone was like, "There's poop on the floor."
Dude, if you're inviting someone to your wedding that's going to take a shit on the floor, you got to rethink your friends.
That's true. That is definitely true.
We have people that are wild people in our lives that have done crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think even the wildest of my friends would. Maybe there's a couple people.
Yeah.
That would maybe take a shit at my wedding, but luckily that didn't happen.
Yeah. Other than that, I got dropped off after a late night wedding reception one time where, it had gone really late and it was like, all right, man, I'll see you tomorrow. And I got dropped off in a city that I didn't live in, not by my Airbnb. The guy was just like trying to get home and he was just like, okay, you're good here. And then I got dropped off and like walked like 10, 15 minutes in the other direction and luckily found my way back to my Airbnb. That happened one time. But nothing, never been to one where someone was like,
stop the wedding.
Yeah, I'd never been to that before.
Yeah, you got to work all that shit out like beforehand.
You got to.
Yeah. But it probably happens. Probably happens a lot.
I feel like it probably happens a lot.
Yeah. One of our friends, this is like the highest drama thing. One of our friends who they put a security deposit down on a space. Mm-hmm. They had the venue all booked. And then like 2 weeks before the wedding, the venue called and was like, so the woman who did all the booking left and we discovered that she double booked the day.
No way.
So you don't have a venue. And it was like literally like 2.5 weeks before the wedding. And
did the place like give them, I guess they gave them money back, but I'm sure
like,
they
how
didn't
did this
help
happen?
them.
And they're like, basically the person who ran the books, like kept track of everything. And she like was basically checked out right before. And they're like, great. So we want the venue. And they're like, we're going to give it to the other people. And so they had to scramble and find another venue like within 2 weeks. And it all came together and it was awesome and it was great. And it worked out really well, but it was crazy.
I think like you said, I think on our first episode of Wedding Crashers, you were like, I don't think people really understand what goes into planning a wedding.
Until you plan a wedding.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, once you plan a wedding, you will never be offended if you don't make the wedding list.
Yeah.
Once you're like having to scrutinize every single person, jam as many family members and extended family members and then friends of like your parents around into like a 200 person venue, you're like, yeah, if I don't make the cut, it's nothing personal. It's just like Aunt Becky has 3 kids and they all have to come.
Yeah. I feel that way now.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you don't invite me,
I think that's an age thing. I used to like,
it's an age
like
thing,
when I was like younger, if I was in like my mid 20s and I didn't get invited to a wedding, I would be like, oh, like this person doesn't like me. And it's like, no, you're still liked. It's just like, at some point you have to draw the line and you're person number 202 and we can only fit 200 in.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm starting to feel that way about everything now. Like there's a thing where I was talking to a friend recently and I was like trying to like get this thing on the books that we've been talking about to like finish a thing and just like not hearing back and like getting kind of frustrated, but then also being like, well, yeah, that person has a family and they've got stuff going on. And like, I don't know, everybody's been sick lately.
I hope it wasn't me and recording for Bradshaw Boys. I'm sorry.
It was this. It was trying to set this up today.
I'm sorry.
Well, you got a family. But yeah, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on and I'm kind of like.
Show your friends out there some grace.
There you go.
All right. That's what this pod's all about now.
Okay. How many champagne toasts do you give Wedding Crashers?
10.
10 out of 10?
Dude, this movie's so good.
Yeah, it's great.
I know it was like a college movie and it's a bit fratty and broy.
Yeah.
But like if you put this movie on, if you want a funny movie that you're probably familiar with, you put this on, it's a great movie. There's some stuff that doesn't hold up maybe in 2022 versus 2005 when it was made.
Yeah.
But like I can look past that stuff.
I think we were saying, I forgot when we said this. I think at one point we were like, is this a good Christmas movie? This is a good Thanksgiving holiday movie? I think absolutely.
Yeah. 100%.
I think you turn this on with the family. I think you got young kids there. There's some boobs in the beginning. Not so much. And there's a lot of language.
A lot of language.
I think it's one of those movies in that vein that if you haven't seen in a while, you'd be like, let's all watch Wedding Crashers. And then you got you got like a 6-year-old cousin there and you're like, oh, never mind. But for consenting adults,
yeah,
absolutely.
Dude, is there anything more awkward than like nudity or heavy sex scenes with your parents in the room?
Dude, there's a movie there I watched with some young family in the room. We watched Coda.
I don't know that one. Is that the
movie that won the Oscar? It was about the deaf family.
Yeah.
The hearing impaired family. I just got really weirded out. I was like, can you say deaf anymore? Shit. Shit, I can't say deaf.
Change all the signs that say deaf child area.
Oh no, get that unwoke sign out of here.
Dude, what if stop signs become what if they cancel stop signs?
Dude, I hope we cancel stop signs. I hate them. I want green lights, bro. But yeah, Coda is like not a bad movie, but there are some like there's a bunch of like sex stuff in there. There's like a whole thing where it's like this like joke where the dad is like doing sign language and like telling the girl's boyfriend how to put a condom on, and like it's very graphic. And I was like with some like young family members, and I was like, oh shoot, I forgot that this was in this movie.
I was hanging out with this woman once who she's the only one that can hear in her family. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about that. I was at a wedding weekend with her. Mm-hmm. And so she speaks sign language, and she was like, this came up that she's like, I had a really hard time going in school and actually making friends because a lot of people thought I like was really abrasive and said stuff that was like inappropriate. And she's like, but what I didn't understand is like, there's like filters that, like able listeners are able to like communicate that we just don't have time or the words for as deaf people. Oh. So like, instead of like, you can't be like, excuse me, I need to go to the bathroom. Uh-huh. Like if you're, and this is an example, I'm not sure if it's entirely true, but if you're a deaf person, you're like, I have to shit. And she's like, that's like how, that's what a deaf person would say, because they don't want to, you don't have the terminology or phrasing to like, or time to be proper about things.
Interesting.
And that's so she's really like, funny. It was like really weird meeting people and having to adjust and learn how to like be proper about stuff. So I thought that was interesting. Not sure if that's true. She could have just been lying to me. So if you come from a hearing impaired family, I'm sorry for spreading misinformation.
Yeah. If that is misinformation, comment here and let us know.
And tell me to go to hell.
Tell Jon to go to hell.
Just tell me straight up to go to hell.
And then I'll be like, are you telling him to go to hell because you're from a hearing impaired family and you're just like, we don't have time. We just don't have to go to hell.
I mean the best for him, but go to hell.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you so much for listening. Patrons, you are the best. Go check out our store. Buy some cream cheese poppy shirts, hats.
Get it for your friends.
You know what goes great in the stocking? The law firm of Miranda Habs, the PR agency of
Miranda Habs.
Samantha Jones. Stuff some stockings with our fucking merch. Later, taters.
Shop.bradshawboys.com. Later, taters. Bye.
The Bradshaw Boys stars Cory Cavin, Kevin James Doyle, and Jon Sieber. The show is produced by me, Jeremy Balon, and narrated by Katie Sieber. This podcast is part of the Seltzer Kings Network. Check out all their great podcasts at seltzerkings.com. You can find the boys on their socials at The Bradshaw Boys or on their website at thebradshawboys.com. And as always, if you see them in the street, tip your glass. Thanks for listening.